What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Bodybuilding Podcast, and I'm here with Mr. Justin Shier. How are you, man?
Fantastic. How are you?
So it's formal, but it's not formal because we've talked many times. So I could have just started it by saying, "Hey, what's up?"
Oh, what's up?
No. So we're gonna have a couple guys join us in a little bit, but I thought me and you would start out first, and we kind of get people to get to know you a little bit, because a lot of people have come on board and have seen your progress and saw you turn pro, but a lot of people also don't know you. So I thought first thing I want to do is just kind of show your Instagram and show people kind of who you are. So for those people who don't know Justin Shier, this is his Instagram page. And for those listening on audio, it's Justin_Shier. It's SHIER. And this is your page. So for people who don't know, he just turned pro at the Nationals, the NPC Nationals. This is at night, or is this prejudging? This is at night.
That's prejudging.
It's prejudging.
Yeah, that's the morning show.
Conditioning is fucking perfect. I mean, quads are feathered, like waist looks good. Everything's really dry but full.
Yeah, I feel really good how he showed up.
Is there anything you think you could have done at the Nationals to be any better? Is this the best that you are right now?
I think the biggest thing, I probably can blame myself for this. I think in the last few weeks, I was a bit fucking possessed on the bike doing cardio, and I think I might have cardioed my legs off a bit.
Well, it doesn't look like it from the back at all. Let me see from the front.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, if you gotta go to I think the first shots that my legs look fine there. Yeah, and that was actually in the night show. Matt decided to put in a little more water.
Yeah,
because he thought it was like a little bit of a hydration thing, which totally could have been it. Why we couldn't fill up the legs. But like in the front shot, you can just see my legs look just a little downsized. Like if you look at my I have a few shots from 3 weeks out where my legs are like blasting full. I think there's like a front relaxed. Yeah, my legs look okay there.
2 weeks out. Yeah, they do look a little bigger here.
Well, go down like just a tiny bit, and that front relaxed.
Yeah.
So that's 3 weeks out, fasted first thing in the morning. My legs look big and full. And I just was so obsessed with getting peeled that I was just fucking possessed on the bike and going crazy. And I think I might have.
So it's interesting you said that, because a lot of people that follow the show or watch the show aren't necessarily competitors or, hardcore bodybuilding fans. So I want to explain that to them a little bit, because the mindset you get into is more is better.
Yeah.
So explain to people a little bit why you weren't just doing what you're supposed to and why you were going a little harder than you should.
I mean, I was doing what I was supposed to. I just definitely upped the intensity a little bit there at the end, just because I'm looking in the mirror. I feel like I'm fat and I'm just balls out on the bike, trying to, do everything I can to make sure we're dialed in. And it's easy to do too much. Are
you kind of like a lot of guys? Like I was like that a little bit. Like the more you get ready for a show and the more you look at yourself, the fatter you feel.
Yep.
Even though you're getting leaner as the 12 weeks or 16 weeks go on, you feel like because you're looking at yourself so much every day, does it feel to you like you're not there?
Oh, definitely. There at the end, I just kind of refused to even look at pictures. Like when we were at the host hotel, I wouldn't, Matt was like, maybe send me some pictures. Like, no, I just want to come see you. I don't even want to look at myself.
Yeah.
So I just go in and see him after every meal. I never took any pictures leading up to the show. As long as he said we were fine, we're fine. I didn't want to see it.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny that I got like that later in my career, because early in my career, I would look in the mirror like every fucking 3 hours.
Yeah.
And you torment yourself.
Oh yeah.
And later, I think in the second half of my career, I realized I'm going to look at myself once in the morning, and then I'm not going to look at myself again for the rest of the day. Yeah. And most of the time when I took pictures, I kind of would glance at them real quick and just send them off to whoever was coaching me.
Yeah.
Without even, because if I studied them,
if I look too much, I'm going to drive myself nuts. I'm going to drive myself crazy, because you feel like you're skinny and fat at the same time. And it's just such a
So how many, this is your second Nationals?
Yeah. So I competed for my first time in 2019. And then last year I did USA's in 2020, and I got fourth place there. And then this year I did Nationals. And
so you've only done 3 shows.
I did a few shows that first year in 2019. They were back to back, but I was just like a kind of a soft light heavyweight, and the never really got in shape kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year I didn't really get in shape. I didn't nail it. I was smooth on stage, and then decided to reach out to Matt, and I feel like we fucking nailed it this year.
Did you coach yourself those first few
No,
shows?
I had a coach, and I'm not at all blaming the coach. I think it was just first time dieting type of stuff.
Yeah.
My body didn't really know what we were doing.
So how many shows total have you done, and where did you place in those first shows in 2019?
So I won the overall at the last show I did in 2019. I got second place at the other one. So total of 4 shows.
Okay. When did you realize you wanted to make it a career, or did you even, I mean, I know you have another career, which we'll discuss later on, but when did you think you wanted to make bodybuilding, you want to pursue bodybuilding at this level?
I think after that first show.
Even though you didn't win, you were like, that's it.
Even though I didn't win. Yeah. I mean, it was a big show. There was like 22 light heavies.
Yeah.
It was Emerald Cup in Washington. Yeah, the guy just beat me because he was in shape.
Yeah.
And well, I just I felt like through that prep, I thought I was going to kind of go in and, I was going to try classic actually. So I thought, let's just try my hand at this and see how it goes. But then halfway through the prep, I realized I'm not making classic. And then I realized how much I fucking loved it. And then the first time you get tanned and, pull water and fucking on stage, it's amazing.
So you knew you loved it from the very first show, like right away.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
So just so people know, let's get into why. We'll come back to this.
Sure.
But you have a kind of a different story than other people, because a lot of guys, like even myself, that get into bodybuilding at this level kind of make it their career. So you have another career. So when you decided to go out at this level, were you already successful in your other career? And let's tell everybody kind of what it is you do, so they kind of get a backstory a little bit.
Yeah, my businesses had already kind of taken off. I own a cannabis business. I own a cannabis dispensary and a cannabis farm. And then my wife and I own our gym. So those 3 things I had, and they were doing well.
Yeah.
Luckily, the cannabis business, it's big in my area. My retail space did like 1.5 million gross in its first year.
Wow.
We're very, very fortunate there. It took off. So I was in a great position to, financially to enter this endeavor and not really stress, which was a huge blessing. But I just spent the last, decade building these businesses and acquiring the skill set to actually make it within this realm. And then I was able to kind of pivot and put that energy into bodybuilding.
Okay. So we're kind of jumping all around, but there's so many questions come up from that. When you say your businesses are doing well, and 1.5 in your first year is crazy, but how does somebody have they say it's hard to suffer when you're doing well. So most people that get into bodybuilding that suffer at this level, that do what they have to do to become a pro, they have to sacrifice a lot of things, and they usually are doing it because they have to get somewhere. If you're already successful, you had no problem suffering and doing it. Like, you're literally doing it for the love of it. You're not doing it for money, career, or anything like that.
No, not at all. I'm not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love business. So I see the business opportunity that bodybuilding has, and I want to pursue the business of bodybuilding, but I just love this stuff, man. I really genuinely fucking love it. And I truly believe that I can be great. Yeah. I think I can be one of the best in the world to do this. And that's where my head space is.
Was that your thought from the first show, or is that now come to fruition after seeing the nationals?
I think it's that that seed was planted in the first show, and it's definitely grown into something different now. But, right away, I think I realized I had a propensity for, putting on muscle, and, I've got good muscle insertions and great shape. And that was all pretty obvious in my first show.
Yeah.
But, over the next few years of really attacking this thing and working with Matt has helped tremendously, because he instilled a lot of knowledge, but a lot of self-belief. He believes in me, and that definitely helps me believe in myself. So I think it's a matter of surrounding yourself and with good people, and you yourself have told me, many times that you believe in me. So, these matter.
So you had your businesses were successful when you started bodybuilding, but you said you own a gym. So how long before you got on stage the first time did you own the gym?
So we bought the gym in 2018. Yeah, January 1st, 2018.
Okay. So only like a year or so you own the gym.
Yeah, only like a year. Yeah. And a buddy of mine who was he does men's physique, or did men's physique, wanted to do classic.
Yeah.
And I was just fucking do it. Just do classic. And he told me, if you do it, I'll do it.
Oh shit. It's one of those.
I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Show. So I started my first prep in 2019, and that was it, man. I loved it.
Okay, so wait a minute. Did you actually want to compete, or is this like kind of a bet that turned into a love?
I mean, it was one of those things that I've been talking about for the last 3 years. I just, never did it. Everyone's
Okay.
like, yeah, I should.
Because my story was literally a bet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I was wondering if it was the same thing.
I mean, that was it. And he called me out. He was
Yeah.
like, you do it and I'll do it. So I was like, fuck it. And I got pretty excited and made it happen. Then I couldn't make the weight for Classic.
So your wife is a CrossFitter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How long before the gym did you own the gym with her?
Yes. Yeah.
How long before you got into bodybuilding and got on stage, or before the gym opened? How long were you before that? Like, when did you guys meet?
So we've been together for like 6.5 years now.
Okay.
So I think the gym was about 3 years into our relationship that we did.
So what was the first business you started?
Well, the first like legitimate on paper business was the dispensary.
Okay.
My brother and I, we had been growing,
Yeah.
but it was like medical. And what we do is we were kind of growing. I started growing in my parents' backyard for a few years, and bombed and lost money and fucking rotted out my crop. And then years and years of doing that, we eventually leased our own property, and then we were able to buy our own property. But through that process, we were selling to medical dispensaries.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, untaxed medical money. It wasn't like an actual legitimate business. Yeah. But through that, I got to see like the inside of these dispensaries. And I was like, that's what we need to do. So we ended up starting our own dispensary in 2017. And then we were able to acquire and purchase our own property. We got 15 acres here in the same town as my dispensary. And then we got our license to operate a tier 2 cannabis grow. So now we're a vertically integrated cannabis company. I'm able to grow my own product and sell it in my own store.
So instead of just being a dispensary that buys it from somebody else, you're just making you grow your own shit.
Yeah. I do still buy stuff from other people, but it's definitely a nice outlet for me to move my own product.
So you don't smoke?
No, I don't.
So this is the most interesting part to me. So you don't smoke weed, but your business and your successful business is growing and selling.
Yeah. Your own supply, Fouad.
No, I trust me, I know. But my curiosity is, did you enter into the growing part just out of sheer business sense because you knew it was going to be a popular thing? Well, if you don't smoke, like, what interested you in it other than the business aspect?
Well, I smoked for like 3 or 4 years in school, and I was an addict, to be honest.
Were you really?
Yeah. So like
how bad?
I mean, I couldn't eat in the morning unless I took a couple bong hits. I couldn't go to bed at night unless I was high. I mean, people like to act like marijuana isn't addicting. It's addicting.
Is it?
It definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I was riding BMX at the time, and like, it's one of those things. If I go to ride my bike, I can't ride unless I'm high. Mm-hmm. It just, like, everything felt weird. It's like, fuck, I gotta get fucking loaded.
Yeah.
But I actually got sick with meningitis, and that's when I quit smoking.
Okay.
But I already had smoked for 3 or 4 years, and I loved it, and I had an actual genuine passion for it.
Yeah.
And my brother continued to smoke as my business partner on the cannabis side of things. And the passion of that never really died. I still appreciate the product, and I love it for what it is. Like the terpene profiles, the smell, things like that. I'm still passionate about it. I just don't. I'm sorry about that. Let me silence this shit.
Hey, sorry to cut you off, but do you enjoy? I know a lot of people get a lot of relief. They don't just enjoy it because they get high, but a lot of people actually get physical and mental relief from smoking weed. Do you enjoy being like the facilitator of that?
Hold on a second. I just lost you. I somehow exited out. Okay. What the fuck?
Oh, you didn't hear any of that?
No, I heard you. I just lost my screen.
Oh, okay.
I exited the screen. Dude, honestly, we genuinely help a lot of people. So most of my demographic is, young kids who want to go get high by the river and, whatever, smoke a joint at night. That's fine. But I have a huge demographic of people that that we genuinely help from like a medicinal standpoint.
Sure.
And that's really, really cool to see.
So how do you go from, okay, so I found out I got why the passion for, or where the weed comes from, but can you tell me what exactly meningitis is and how you got that?
Well, meningitis, it's like an airborne disease, so you catch it like
Yeah.
anything, common cold.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how I got it. I drinking off the wrong water fountain or kissing the wrong girl or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was 17, I got very sick.
What are the symptoms of meningitis?
So when I had it, it was like I feel like I had the flu. So it was like a really bad cold at first, and then it just kind of progressed into something worse. And I was just kind of laid up. Got to a point where I couldn't really drink and hold down water because I would just throw it up.
Yeah.
And then one morning I was laying on the couch and I just got up to use the restroom and everything just kind of gave out. I collapsed on the ground and my brother had to lift me up and put me on the toilet. And at that point in time, I'm just shitting my brains out. And I couldn't keep myself upright. So I'm sitting there shitting myself and he's holding my head up and holding my body up while I'm just, going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, we realized things were pretty serious and I had to go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital, went to the ER. They had to do a spinal tap, which I don't know if you're familiar. They shove a needle about this big right into your spine.
Okay.
And draw fluid out because it ended up being spinal meningitis.
Okay.
And something about the fluid, if it comes out clear, you're good. If it came out like milky, then we're in trouble. And obviously it came out, that milky color. At that point, they just kind of rushed me to the hospital. It's a town adjacent to ours because they were just better equipped for it. And during that time, I just kind of lost consciousness and I woke up 2 weeks later.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So during that time, I mean, I was dealing with like some swelling in the brain.
Yeah.
So my brain's swelling, I'm just kind of losing it. And they've got me strapped across my chest and across my forehead, and everybody's wearing masks and they're just like holding me down and I'm hallucinating. I'm kind of losing my mind. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And it was one of those moments that, I had liver and kidney failure. Everything was shutting down. When I was sitting there on the toilet with my brother, I'd never been more certain that I was dying. Like I was so acutely aware that my body was shutting down on me.
Mm-hmm.
It was terrifying. It was really scary.
So you're out for 2 weeks. Are you you're in a coma? Like what is like?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was in a medically induced coma for that 2 weeks, and I was on dialysis, and I had sepsis. So your body will take blood flow to keep your heart and your brain going, and it will take it from your extremities. So that's how I ended up losing these 3 fingers.
Okay.
When I woke up out of the coma, these 3 fingers were black, almost like frostbite.
Yeah.
You ever seen Mr.
Yeah.
That's what my hand looked like.
So they couldn't repair it. They couldn't repair or get blood flow back to your fingers. So they just.
Yeah. So they had to amputate. Yeah. So at that point, there wasn't really anything to do.
So and that was before the gym. Was that before you met your wife?
Yeah. Yeah. I was 17 at the time.
17. So you've referenced your brother a lot so far in the podcast. You just have the one brother? Or do you have other siblings?
I have a younger sister as well.
Is your brother older than you?
Yeah, my brother's older, 3 years.
And how is your relationship with your parents? Good?
Yeah, it's great. Relationships are really good with my parents.
So what made you quit smoking weed? Was it just because it was a near-death experience and you're like, I want to be healthier? Or what was it that kind of switched?
Well, I was in the hospital for 3 months during that time. I was in the ICU for about 3 months. And I had ARDS, which is acute respiratory distress syndrome.
Yeah.
Where your my lungs pretty much turned into leather, and the life support burst a hole in my lungs. So I had a hole about the size of a silver dollar in one of my lungs. So it wasn't an option. I couldn't smoke.
Okay.
But after that, once I got out of the hospital, after spending 3 months not smoking, and then I can't smoke because of the ARDS, I just never made my way back to it. And it's also, I feel like it's one of those things, once you have a tolerance for it and you lose it, like trying to get it back, every time I smoke now, I just feel like a complete moron.
Oh, so you have tried to smoke?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Over the years, my brothers me to get high a good couple dozen times, and every time it's a disaster every time.
The bad influence, your brother.
Yeah, definitely.
So how does that feel? And forgive me if this is at all not the same, but I had pneumonia a while back. Like, I don't know, I want to say it's almost 10 years ago now. And I was in the hospital for like 4 days.
Yeah.
And they told me that it scarred my lungs.
Mm-hmm.
How is your performance in the gym? Does it affect like your ARDS? Does it affect your performance in the gym at all? Does it affect your breathing?
At this point, I don't think so. I don't really notice anything.
Did it after? Like, did you notice that at any point?
Yeah, after for a while. Yeah, for a good long while. I mean, I was, they used to say, I don't know if you remember on was it Malcolm in the Middle? There's that kid that takes a deep breath.
Yeah. When he has to talk. Yeah.
That was me for like 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like could not keep any lung capacity, any oxygen capacity.
But now you don't feel anything.
No, I feel good.
Okay, so explain to me where the passion for working out comes from, because I know you told me you were a BMX guy before that. So when did you start the BMX thing, and why did that go away?
Well, I was hit by a car riding my bike, and I broke my leg pretty bad. I'm
gonna show people the X-ray.
Yeah, so I don't remember, I think it's 2013, 2014, I was riding my bike downhill. We're kind of hill bombing, and I ended up running head on with a car that was driving uphill. And you'll see in the X-rays, I broke my femur in 3 places. I broke my femoral head completely off. Yep, there's that skinny.
This is BMX, Justin.
Yeah.
I cannot believe. But you know what? Were you working out at this time? Because you look like you got some muscle here.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might have been going to the gym. I think this is after. Yeah, this is after I broke my leg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think I had been training like a tiny bit, but either way, I'm still like 185 pounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, the accident was pretty serious, and I just went into the gym afterwards, just hoping to rehab my leg. And
this is the leg break. This is your femur.
You can see right there, like the femur broke in 2 places here and here, and this piece in the middle broke in half. And
oh God.
Half of it was attached to my femoral artery. So when they reattached it, when they put the rod in, rather, they didn't reattach that piece.
Yeah.
I had when I got hit by the car, something hit the back of my neck here, and it hit my carotid artery, and I ended up losing like a little over 6 units of blood. So I came very close to bleeding out and dying at that point, because you only have 8 to 10 units of blood in the healthy male body.
Yeah.
So when they reattached that, they just left it floating there, which is totally bizarre. I ended up making a union eventually, but now I kind of have this big bone mass in my left femur. Yeah. You can see it a little bit in like some of my posing sometimes, like in my front double, you see a little notch taken out of my left leg.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really where it came from. I just I wanted to rehab that leg, and I just got into the gym to do that. And after a year of being on crutches and working out, I just kind of fell in love with working out.
So how long were you BMXing for?
Probably about 10 years, about maybe 15, 16 years old to about 26.
How old are you now?
I'm 34.
34. So you're getting into bodybuilding a little late.
Yeah, I did my first.
That's crazy, man. This is it's such a different life.
Yeah, it really is a different life. But it's also there is some carryover. I mean, the amount of time I have to spend on my bike to be able to do this shit, I understand the commitment levels it takes to. That's just a picture of my brother. That's a photo that I took. As you can see, we're both long-haired and weed-grown hippie.
This is so crazy to see. It's so fascinating for me to see people's transformations from. Yeah.
You should go down a little bit. You'll see the photo where
you got a good physique here. Were you training here or not?
No, not really.
Yeah, you could tell the genetics are there for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, this was after my leg break, so it's like I was doing like bicep curls in the gym. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah. No, because I was thinking to myself, because Luke was into skateboarding and stuff, and drumming and all these other things, and then he got into bodybuilding, and it's like, it's crazy for me to see how people go from one, you know, for someone like me, it's not a big deal. It's like, oh, I went from football to bodybuilding. It's kind of like a natural progression.
Yeah.
But this is such a different lifestyle. It's like, it's really interesting for
Yeah,
me to see.
it really is. It's, I mean, kind of polar opposites from a lifestyle standpoint. But
yeah,
you know, as far as what it takes to be good and be talented at this type of thing, this is all just me like getting back on my bike, figuring out how to ride again. So it's like a bunch of silly stuff that I'm excited about for no reason.
Is there anything from before the break?
On that picture right there, you can see where like
Which one?
up a little bit, a little more on the top right there. That one.
Oh
top.
my God.
Yeah, so you can see where it gashed open. Yeah. So that hit my carotid artery, and I damn near bled out and died right there.
So you went head first into a car?
Yeah, I went face first right into the windshield.
Was it their fault or your fault?
I mean, I was in the bike lane, but I was opposing traffic. So your gotta kind of, yeah, we split the, I got a ticket.
You got a ticket?
Yeah, I was fined. Yeah, I'm seriously bleeding out, dying. My legs twisted and folded over on itself, and the cop puts a ticket on my chest.
Come on.
No, I swear. Yeah.
Okay. No, are you fucking?
No, I'm serious.
So no, and then did he call an ambulance after that, or like what the fuck?
No, yeah, I was like getting in the ambulance. My mom's there. My mom's and he he's like, "Here, buddy, good luck."
What the fuck? How much was the ticket for?
I think it was like reckless endangerment or something like that.
But how much was it? Do you remember?
I think it's like $800 ticket. I had to pay it.
Oh my God. Here I am thinking like you got a settlement. Meanwhile, you got a ticket.
No, I got fucked. The guy that hit me didn't even have car insurance.
What happened to that guy?
Nothing.
Oh my God. Okay.
Insurance. I don't know. It was a scene. I think I told you, I texted you about it. So typically, you know, we rode to the top of town, and there's like a Mexican restaurant up there. So we got some Mexican food, and then we usually just hill bomb down because it's at the top of our town, and it's a steep hill, and we just bomb with traffic. But that night there was this sketchy crackhead chick who came out of the hotel that was right there that was asking us for a ride. She wanted to ride. And I was like, we're on bikes, lady. I can't give you a ride. Yeah. But this chick comes and she jumps on my handlebars. She sits on my bars and leans back to where her butt is like on the frame of my bike. Her feet are looped over my handlebars, and she leans her head against my chest.
Yeah.
We're locked in. I said, all right, fuck it, let's go. I just lift my feet and drop in, and we bomb. So typically I would cut over and I'd get to the other, there's one that runs this way, one that runs this way. It's two one ways.
Yeah.
Usually I'd go with the one where we're with traffic, but I had this chick on my handlebars and I just went for it. Mm-hmm. And man, we probably got up to about 35, 40 miles an hour. I mean, with this chick on my handlebars, this steep hill, I mean, we were fucking flying.
Yeah.
My eyes are watering. Yeah. My brother and my friends are behind me. Their gearing's maxed out, so they're pedaling, trying to keep up. They can't. I'm just pulling away from them.
Yeah.
And I'm like I said, I'm in the bike lane, and I'm coming around this blind corner, and I see this guy's headlights, and he's in like the middle lane, but he did that thing where you like you make a turn, and you just kind of get over.
Yeah.
So he gets over in the lane that's closest to me, and I think he must have just seen me at the last second and panicked because he ripped the wheel towards me.
Towards you?
Yeah. So I have pictures where his wheel is up on the sidewalk towards me in the bike lane.
What the
and that's where I'm laid out. So I go face first into the windshield. This chick is on my handlebars. She gets ejected, misses the car, and she's probably 100 yards that way.
Yeah.
And she just slid on her ass and on her back.
Yeah.
So I go face first into the windshield. This car's fucking totaled. I got blood shooting out my neck, and my leg is sitting there twisted, and I'm wearing shorts. You can just see it's just a mess. They've got 3 kids in the back seat. These kids are screaming bloody murder. I mean, they're probably horrified.
Yeah.
Steaming. The wife gets out of the car. She's pissed drunk. It's 3 a.m. because I think he must have just picked her up from the bar or something, because this guy's got his wife and his kids in the car at 3 a.m. It's not a good thing.
Yeah.
And she gets over the top of me. She's screaming and yelling at me because she's like, do you realize what you've done? My kids are crying and screaming. She's screaming at me. I got blood shooting like this.
Oh my God.
This girl that was on my handlebars is about 100 yards that way, just fucking howling.
Wait, do you remember any of this, or is this story told to you?
No, I remember it.
Oh, okay.
I was completely awake the whole time.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I went right into the windshield and plopped right in front of this car.
Yeah.
So the pictures of me on the ground, I'm like 2 feet from the car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he told the cops that he was going the speed limit, which is 35 miles an hour. I was probably going 35 when I hit him. So, I mean, we made fucking impact.
Yeah. So what happened to the crackhead?
So this bitch, she was terrible. She was awful. So the guy that hit me is a black guy.
Yeah.
So she's just yelling all this fucking derogatory N-word.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was they load us up both into the same ambulance, and she's just yelling the N-word over and over and over again. We get to the hospital and they approach my parents and they go, "Hey, just want to let you know the baby's okay. But she did have methamphetamine in her system." And my parents are like, "What? The baby? What are you talking about?" She's, "Oh, shit. Your son's girlfriend is okay. The baby's gonna be okay." So she's pregnant and high on meth, and they think she's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Not my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Just a weird crackhead. But apparently she's high on crank and 12 weeks pregnant, and baby's gonna be okay.
Okay, wait a minute. So are you still awake at this point?
At that point, no, they rushed me into surgery.
So how long was it before did your parents know for sure that wasn't your girlfriend, or did they think all of a sudden?
Yeah, they knew. They were like, "No, that's not his girlfriend."
Okay. Here I am thinking like you're passed out and your parents are like, "What the fuck?"
They found out I'm having a baby.
Holy shit. That's a crazy fucking story, man.
It was wild, dude. She ended up walking out of the hospital that night. She was fine. Of course, right?
Yeah.
Weird crackhead.
The crackhead. She couldn't feel anything. She just rolled away.
She tumbled down the road and was fine.
Were you fucked up at all or no?
Was I fucked up?
Like, were you high at all, or did you smoke that night or no?
Oh, we did a little drinking, but by the time I got to the top of town, I had Mexican food, and after all that, I wasn't like buzzed or anything.
So you weren't fucked up, yeah? No,
I wasn't fucked up. I was fine. I was just 26, and I'm just I was a bit of a loose cannon. So of course I have just hill bomb a fucking hill with some crackhead on my handlebars and run face first into a car.
Is that how your kind of whole childhood was? Like, were you a troublemaker or no?
I wasn't a troublemaker, but I was just, I was
like to fuck around.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you see, I'm doing backflips on a BMX bike, stuff like that. So I was always kind of like that.
What was school, Justin, like? Like, did you do well in high school or no?
Oh, I got high the whole time and didn't do shit. I
skip all your classes like I did.
Skipped all my classes. I remember I had a weight class that was right after lunch, and I would always get high at lunch. And I remember going in and they set me up with like this little football player kid, and we're benching.
Yeah.
He puts 135 on the bar, and he's just repping it.
Yeah.
Just funny little football player. I didn't know. I remember getting underneath that thing, and that 135 crushed me, and I couldn't do a rep, and I was fucking so embarrassed. And he pulled it off my chest, and I just never went back.
That was it.
Fuck this. This is stupid.
Now look at you.
Look at me.
Do you know that? Do you know that kid now?
No, but I'm gonna find him on Facebook now.
Send him an IG post of you doing 4 plates.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Lately, motherfucker. He totally set me up too. I think he knew, and it was like he wanted to embarrass me. I remember it being like this cocky thing. I was like, this little asshole. I quit dressing down. I never went again. But yeah, so when I got sick with meningitis, I got sick like the week before finals. So I ended up not getting like any of the credits for that year. And then I was in the hospital for the majority of that school year. And then even when it came to like re-enrolling, if I was going to repeat my senior year, I still had like doctor's appointments in the town over. I still had doctor's appointments 3 times a week. I had like follow-up surgeries on my hand. I was still like in a wheelchair, and like it was just
wait a minute. I'm confused with the timeline here. So when did the BMX stuff start? While you were in high school?
Yeah, more like middle school. Yeah.
And then when was the accident? You obviously were still in high school during the accident?
The BMX accident?
Yeah.
The car accident? No,
car
I
accident.
was like 26 at the time.
Yeah, you were. It was way after. Yeah. So what do you
Yeah.
mean? So the meningitis, when did that happen?
That happened when I was 17 in high school.
Oh, okay. So I'm thinking like, okay, so I'm sorry. So
No, it's fine.
meningitis happened, you lost your fingers, and you were still BMXing the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a big, huge comeback that I had to, overcome. Riding bikes with half a hand is not easy.
Well, it's not. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. But when I broke my leg again, I remember it was like, I have to make this huge comeback again to get back to my BMX bike. And I just felt like I didn't have it.
Okay, wait. What do you mean broke your leg again? When did you break it the first time?
I broke it the first time when I got hit by a car. But I ended up, after about a year of non-weight bearing, so I couldn't weight load for or weight bear for like 10 months.
Yeah.
So I was like for 10 months. And then I had to have another surgery because I had a non-union in my femur. So what they did is they pulled all the hardware out, and then they did like a bone fusion because they had to wall out the inside of my femur for bigger hardware.
Yeah.
And they used that bone to fill in some of the spaces where I didn't get a union on my femur.
Okay.
Then it was like another 8 weeks without weight bearing. And then I ended up having that hardware pulled out because by that time I was trying to actually like squat and leg press. So when I would do like a squat, I would go down, I would feel that hardware shearing the inside of my glute.
Did you feel
the hardware, it's probably seen in one of the pictures. I mean, that rod was like this long.
Yeah.
It poked me in the back of the glute when I would squat. So I had the hardware pulled out. But anyway, after about 18 months, I got back on my bike and I was riding my bike and I broke my leg again. Same leg. So I ended up going over the handlebars like into a bowl, and I just landed and hyperextended my leg. I thought I just grenaded my knee. It just felt like my knee just exploded. Yeah. But it was a plateau fracture where the top of my tibia cracked in like 3 places.
Yeah. Wow.
So I broke that same leg again, and at that point I was like, I am so done.
So did you have surgery after the second break, or is it just heal like in a cast?
No, it didn't require surgery. I just was on crutches for 12 or 14 weeks or something like that.
And then you're like, fuck it, that's it, I'm done.
And at that time, I'd spent the last 18 months in the gym consistently.
Yeah.
It was all bad. I couldn't bikes. And that was where I was like, this is what I'm doing now.
So you developed a passion for it through rehab?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool, man. That's a fucking crazy story, man. It's a lot of adversity to go through, man.
Well, when people be like, oh, I can't squat, or I can't build my legs because I got a bad hip, I'm like, man, fuck you guys. I don't hear it, dude. I hear it so much. You know what I'm talking about. You hear people all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'd love to squat, can't do it, got a funky hip.
Yeah, no, I know.
I broke the head of the femoral head, the ball of my hip completely off.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So after all that, how do you fucking deadlift? I've seen you deadlift like a shitload of weight with no fingers. Are you just, is it all straps? Because I'm like, how the fuck is he deadlifting all this weight?
Well, I got these hostile wrist straps. They can really anchor me into the bar.
I set you up for that. No, seriously though, is it wrist straps? You're not using your
straps? Yeah, I mean, I've still pulled like 405 off the ground for reps with no straps just to kind of see if I could do it.
What do you do? Just hold it with the one finger?
I still have my index and my thumb, so I'm able to grab it. But yeah, it's optimal. But as long as I have straps, I'm able to crank in and I'm good. So
explain to me the passion and the suffering when you're making a lot of money. A lot of people have a lot of trouble with that. I mean, obviously there's examples of people that don't, because we see Chris Bumstead, who's obviously doing very, very well for himself and still suffers and gets the Olympia win. But most people, when they start getting into the successful, comfortable lifestyle, don't have an easy time in bodybuilding because it requires a lot of suffering.
Yeah. I just want this shit more than anything. I want to be great. I want to do this more than anything. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. Is your
business running to a point where you don't have to spend a lot of time doing it?
The retail side of things, it's kind of just a revolving door of income, and I've got good management in place, and it really kind of runs itself. It doesn't require much of me. But to double back to what you're saying, like when I'm making a lot of money, when I say my company did 1.5, that's gross.
Oh, I understand that. Yeah.
That means still I didn't put $1 million in my pocket.
I get it 100%, but still, even 1.5 gross is still good. Because I'm assuming you're.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's fucking amazing. I really couldn't have even anticipated that.
Yeah.
So, but when you have that type of money, there's a lot of reinvesting that occurs. There's huge tax bills that occur, and I have a business partner, and we're always expanding. And
trust me, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Anybody.
What's that?
I said I know you understand better than.
Yeah. No, but I guess I should rephrase what I was trying to say. So it's less about money, and it's more about passion. So my philosophy, and a lot of people will disagree with this, but my philosophy has always been, if you chase 2 rabbits, you're going to lose one. So what I mean by that is, some people will try and do too many things at once. And if those things are all big things that require a lot of attention, they generally don't do well at both.
Right.
So that's why that's kind of where I was more leading, more so than the money. I'm more like, are you comfortable over there where you can leave it and put your focus onto bodybuilding and really excel?
I think a lot of it is just appropriate delegation. I have a lot of good people in my corner, and it's hire smart and fire fast. And I mean, it's hard. I'm not going to act like it isn't hard. I mean, it requires a lot of me, but I think if I didn't have all this going on, there'd be a huge void in my life. And like those times that there isn't much going on, because a lot of the cannabis thing, as far as the growing side of things, is seasonal. We have some greenhouses, but like our big hustle season is our summertime. So our summer and spring. And through the winter things slow down a lot, and sometimes I just don't have much going on in my day. It drives me nuts.
Oh, I see. So you can parse out your time into plan out your season to kind of go around your work.
Yeah, definitely. This prep was tough because I dieted right through our harvest, and it's hard to be fully present when you're 3 weeks out. And, you're also harvesting, thousands and thousands of plants.
Yeah.
Tough.
Where did the business sense come from?
I think growing up, my dad always ran his own business. He ran his own painting and construction business. And I just got to see, my old man do well for himself and be his own boss. And I would never be a good employee. I was never going to work. I just couldn't do it. I mean, I did, don't get me wrong. I worked my shitty jobs, but I'm a shit employee.
How many shitty jobs did you have?
So
you don't have to list them all. Just give me a number.
I think like 4 shitty jobs.
Oh, that's nothing.
Well, okay. And then, I work. Honestly, I spent most of the time working for my dad.
Listen, when you say I have to be my own boss, or I can't work for someone else.
Yeah.
I say that. I had 16 jobs between age 16.
It took you a long time to figure your shit out.
Yeah. Between age 16 and 23, I had 16 jobs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you get fired that many times, or did you quit? Are you that shitty of an employee?
Both.
Yeah, I mean, I got fired and quit, but
I got fired and quit.
That's high turnover rate, dude.
I can't. That's why I started Hostile. That's why I became a bodybuilder.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah. I started working for my dad, and it was pretty lax, and I we made good money, and then it's working for family. So if I didn't want to go to work, I would just tell my dad I'm not going to work today.
What'd your mom do?
My mom has always worked with like developmentally disabled, so she's a caretaker and people. So she's always done that my whole life. And then like I said, my dad owned his own business, and you see when the family wanted to go on vacation, we just shut shit down for 2 weeks and take off. People, you can't do that working a 9 to 5. My brother and I both worked for my dad, so when we were going to take a family vacation, we all just checked out and bounced. And when you're working for somebody, you just can't do that type of thing. And
so seeing that growing up, you're like, you knew that was kind of life you wanted.
My dad's, I mean, except for like the housing crash of 2008, that was a really, really hard time for our family. I mean, during that time, it was a bummer. My dad was putting in, applications to get a job at Walmart.
Yeah.
Or Home Depot. We were just doing anything. We were cutting firewood during that time. We'd go up into the mountains in the middle of winter and spend the whole day cutting and splitting firewood just to get 2 cords of firewood to sell for $200 a pop. And then, my dad would give me $100 and he'd make $100 and my brother'd make $100 and we'd put $50 in gas and that was our day. But you're talking about splitting firewood for 12 hours for $300 is tough. So we did that for a whole winter in like 2008 and 2009, or 2 whole winters in 2008 and 2009. Mm-hmm. That was actually when me and my brother were like, dude, we're going to grow weed, Dad.
What'd your dad say?
Yeah. He was like, go for it.
Really?
Yeah. He let us grow in his backyard. And because we had buddies that were doing it. And I had friends that we went to high school with that were, making 6 figures growing weed.
Yeah.
20-year-old kids. I'm like, what? This is fuck this shit, Dad. Fuck splitting firewood, dude. But then we grow weed and dude, it's a nightmare. People don't understand it. It's not, you grow weed, you got these big pot plants, like, oh, everything looks great. And then it rains and every single plant you have splits in half. And you go, holy shit, I just lost everything.
Yeah.
I didn't have it caged right because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
So like there was years of that. And then like, we thought we're going to build these covers and because when the rain comes, it'll be all covered. But what you don't realize is that what you created was a fucking sauna. And now all my weed just molded and I lost everything again. So, but it took that was 2 years where you're like, oh, I didn't make any money. I lost everything because I was an idiot at what I was doing.
Was your dad still on board even though you fucked up?
Yeah, he let us destroy his backyard and make a mess. I mean, terrible. Now if you look at my farm, it's beautiful. I mean, everything, it looks like a vineyard. Everything's in straight lines. We string line everything. There's not a piece of trash anywhere. Yeah. It's beautiful. It looks like a fucking golf course. My brother's got, crazy attention to detail. So he's watering every square inch of that fucking place and making sure it's green and, he looks nice, but my parents' backyard looked terrible. Is
your dad involved in the business at all? Like, have you given him a piece for fucking the torment you put him through?
God, I owe him a piece. It's we obviously I help my parents the way I can, but we know this, we're still in the infancy of this thing.
Yeah.
I'm not quite at that place. We're doing very well, but like only well enough to live well and to expand.
Sure.
I know at some point in time, these companies are going to be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
We're just not there yet.
A lot of people don't understand that because, it's the same thing with Hostile. Like we're doing really well.
Yeah.
And we have a ton of sales and we've exceeded our numbers that we expected, but it's the first 5 years of any company is like, just reinvest, like I barely take a salary.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm like, everything just,
it made 1.5 million, but me and my brother were taking $2,000 a month.
Yeah. That's exactly, yeah.
That's poverty. That's like living in poverty. It was tough.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
But I mean, you make that sacrifice so that you can, in 5 years, you can look and go, okay,
yeah,
we've made the adjustments that we had to make, and now we can take more.
And a lot of the liquidity in the company to continue to expand and to make sure that all my employees and vendors were always taken care of. I've never had to burn anybody on money because I didn't, I've always made sure there was money in the safe to take care of business.
How many employees do you have?
Across the dispensary and the farm and the gym, I think it's like 17 total, 16, 17.
How does that feel? How does it feel? Like, how did it feel when you had your first employee?
I felt good.
Yeah.
That first employee, we went completely broke because when I signed the lease for this retail space and I paid rent on it for 8 months before we opened business. Yeah. The licensing process just took forever. So during that time, we're remodeling, we're redoing the floors and paint and all that shit and hired employees. So I'm paying salaries, I'm paying leases, I'm paying rent, and I'm paying everything. And that first day we opened our business, I had to borrow $200 from my wife, my girlfriend at the time. I had to borrow $200 from her so I could put $100 in each till so I could have cash in the till to open business on my first day.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. I mean, we went completely liquid. I spent everything and I was puckering my butthole and I borrowed $200 from my girlfriend to open shop the first day.
We hired our first employee at Hostile. It was a proud day for me. I didn't think it would be. I didn't think it would be like a big deal. I was like, whatever. People just have employees. You don't really think about it.
Yeah.
But then when you're actually paying somebody a salary and they're like,
when you see them providing for their families off of what you've built, I think it really hits like around the holidays, when you've got you know, I've got like 6 employees at the store that I see, you know, you follow them on social media and they're buying their kids toys and they're providing for their family, and you know that that's actually coming from something that you built.
Yeah.
You know, that's an amazing feeling. It is very cool.
Yeah, it's how do they say it? It's an unintended perk, I guess. I didn't really think of that when I started the company.
No, yeah, it's not something that you have like the forethought to think about. You know, you're just caught up in building your business. But then when you sit back and you actually see that you have, you know, a dozen families that rely on you, and are actually able to provide for their family because of you, that's an amazing feeling.
So what's next? What are we doing now? So you turn pro.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking to the stars. You think you can go as far as possible.
Yeah.
What is the next move for Justin after turning pro?
So I'm going to take 2022 completely off, and then compete early 2023. Mm-hmm. And I just need the time to put on some size. But aside from that, just hone in on bodybuilding and business. And
so we're thinking what first year we see you on stage is 2023 New York Pro, 250 pounds.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I don't know about 250. I was only like 216 on stage.
Were you really?
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, you're heavyweight, so you had to be under 220.
Yeah. So I mean, ideally, if I think I could be very competitive even at 230.
Well, I was just going to say, people, it's funny because everybody says the weight is this and weight is that, but everybody carries their weight separately, like differently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not Phil Heath, but didn't Phil Heath win his first Olympia at like 232 or something?
I was actually just going to use that example because my heaviest weight on stage was like 258, 260.
Yeah.
But I think Phil was like 255, but looked like he was 5 times bigger than me. So it's like everybody doesn't carry their weight the same way. And you're right. You probably could get away with competing at like 235 and
really
look just as big as everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens, man. And I'm happy that you're part of our team.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy that we do this like quick podcast and kind of give people an introduction because you got an interesting story. But I'm going to we're going to wrap this.
Okay.
We'll get this podcast out as you and you alone. And then we're going to bring in the other guys for another hour or however long you have.
Let's do it. I love talking about myself. This is a lot of fun.
Okay. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and like the video. And if you get a chance, check out the description for all the different links to all the different places you can find Hostile and myself. And lastly, check out hostile.com for our new line of supplements and all of our apparel and gear. Thanks again for watching.